Ever feel like you're constantly trying to catch up? Like everyone else has this like overnight success thing figured out,
Yeah.
except you.
Yeah,
Well, today's deep dive with Robert Greene is for you
it is.
because we're going to be unlocking these secrets to building real power and respect.
Right.
And trust me, it is not about inheriting $1 million from some rich relative or like,
Right.
crushing the competition.
No.
It's really not about that.
Yeah.
We're going to be digging into his fascinating interview
Yeah.
with Chris Williamson. And
It's good.
yeah, it is. It's really good.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this one is packed with aha moments.
It is interesting, isn't it? This
Yeah.
whole thing where we kind of automatically think of power as this like aggressive,
Oh, yeah.
almost combative force.
Right, like you got to win.
Yeah.
You got to be cutthroat.
But Greene really flips the script on that.
He does.
He's arguing that like true power, it comes from a totally different place.
Yeah.
Mastering yourself and your craft.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. Because he actually
Sure.
talks about like his own early struggles.
Right.
Years he spent just like bouncing between jobs, feeling lost,
Yeah.
wondering if he would ever find his footing.
Totally.
But here's the thing. Those very experiences became his secret weapon.
That's right. He calls it skill accumulation.
Yeah,
And it's such a simple but brilliant insight.
it is.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
Every job you have,
Yeah,
every project you work on, every skill you pick up,
right.
it's like you're depositing this little nugget of gold into this like personal vault you have.
I like that.
You might not see the value right away,
Right.
but over time, it's like you've been slowly building this treasure trove of expertise and experience.
Yeah, it's like that saying, the harder I work, the luckier I get.
Right, exactly.
But Greene takes it like a step further.
He does.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
He actually compares this whole process of skill development to rewiring your brain.
Yeah, and there's some fascinating research that backs that up. Yeah, he mentions this UCLA study, I think it was on patients with OCD,
Right.
and they were doing all this like targeted work to manage their symptoms,
Yeah.
and it actually led to visible changes in their brain scans.
Wow. So like they could physically see?
They could actually see it.
That's wild.
Yeah, so when Greene talks about skill building as this like transformative process,
Yeah.
it's not just some motivational metaphor.
Right.
You are literally changing your brain's structure,
Wow.
creating new pathways for success.
That's incredible.
It really is.
So it's like you're training your brain
yeah,
to see opportunities that other people just miss.
right.
All because you've invested the time and energy to build this like unique, very specific skill set.
Yeah, and it becomes like this internal compass
Yeah.
that guides you towards a path you might not have even known existed
Yeah.
if you hadn't gone through that process.
Exactly. And that leads us to another key insight from Greene.
Oh,
This idea of embracing what he calls your weirdness.
yeah, love this one. Love it.
He's
Yeah.
really adamant that your unique quirks,
Yeah,
the things that make you stand out, make you different.
totally.
They're not flaws to be hidden.
Right.
They might actually be the seeds of your greatest strengths.
Your superpower, yeah.
So it's not about being different just for the sake of it.
I know, definitely not.
It's about recognizing like those unique talents and perspectives that you bring to the table,
Right.
even if they don't fit into like the conventional mold.
Totally. And I think Greene would argue that repressing those unique qualities
Yeah.
can actually really stifle your potential, even lead to unhappiness.
Yeah.
He compares it to the natural world, like biodiversity. That's what makes ecosystems thrive,
Right.
And it's the same with us.
Yeah.
Our individual, our weirdness,
Right.
it's not just interesting, it's essential.
He uses some really compelling examples too
Oh, he does.
to really drive this point home.
Okay.
Like Temple Grandin,
Yes. Great
No.
example.
who became like a leading expert in animal behavior.
I know. It's amazing.
Despite living with autism
Right.
and her unique way of thinking,
Yeah.
her weirdness allowed her to connect with animals
Totally.
in a way that most people they can't.
They can't.
And that's what Greene wants us to understand, right?
I think so. Yeah.
The things that make you different, those passions, those interests
Right.
that set you apart.
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Yeah.
They are often clues to your unique contribution to the world.
It's like he's saying, don't be afraid to be the outlier.
Yeah.
Be the one who sees things differently.
Totally.
But then he brings in this fascinating connection between
Yeah.
individuality
Right.
and power dynamics.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really interesting. So how does that work?
Well, you know how we live in a world that is obsessed with conformity?
Oh, yeah.
He argues that being irreplaceable, that is the ultimate power move.
Okay.
If you can offer something unique, a skill set,
Right.
perspective
Yeah.
that no one else can replicate,
Yeah.
you become incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more.
So Greene, he connects this whole idea of being irreplaceable
Okay.
to the importance of carefully crafting your reputation.
Okay.
He really believes that in the game of power,
Yeah.
perception is often reality.
Oh, interesting.
Like people, they judge you based on what they think they know about you,
Okay.
whether it's true or not.
So it's not even enough to be skilled
No,
or talented?
it's not enough.
It's about how you package and present yourself
Yes.
to the world.
Yes.
Almost like you're building a personal brand.
Exactly.
Greene uses his own book,
Okay.
48 Laws of Power, as a
Yeah.
great example of this.
Okay.
He said that he butted heads with his publishers.
You did.
Yeah, because he insisted on this like unconventional design for the book
Interesting.
because he wanted it to reflect his own unique thought processes.
Oh.
So like the book is packed with quotes and images and even like stories
Interesting.
that are all interwoven with the text.
Wow. So he was willing to fight for that vision, for that element of weirdness that he wanted to bring to the book,
Yeah.
even when it meant like pushing back against the norms of the entire publishing industry.
He did, and it paid off big time.
It did.
Because the book became a bestseller,
Right.
and it really stood out.
Right. In a sea of like
Yeah.
generic titles.
Exactly, because
Exactly.
it dared to be different.
Exactly.
And I think what Greene understood was that this like unconventional approach,
Yeah.
it wasn't just about aesthetics.
It wasn't just about how it looked.
Right. It was about building this like distinct, memorable brand
Yes.
that reflected his core message.
Totally.
And I think it's a really good reminder for all of us
Yeah.
to stay true to your own style, your own voice,
Yeah.
even when you're facing pressure to conform.
Oh, 100%.
But Greene also warns about the fragility of reputation, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Like how easy it can be tarnished.
Oh, 100%, especially today.
Especially today where
He uses that analogy of a balloon.
Okay.
It's like one prick and it's gone.
It's over.
You can spend years building a strong reputation,
Yeah.
but a single misstep
Like one.
there can shatter it in an instant,
That's true.
especially online.
So how do we navigate this minefield?
Yeah.
Greene has to have some advice for that.
He does.
I mean, he has to.
He does, and it's so simple,
Okay.
but powerful.
Okay.
He says we should treat our online presence
Okay.
with the same strategic thinking that we apply to other areas of our lives.
Okay.
Be intentional about what you share,
Okay.
how you present yourself, even when you choose to engage.
So it's not just about what you say online,
All right.
but like how you say it and when you say it.
Total.
It's like you're directing your own little personal stage play.
Yes, 100%. Greene's a big advocate
He is.
of what he calls strategic absence.
Strategic absence, okay?
Yeah, he uses the example of Napoleon,
Okay.
who would intentionally make himself scarce.
Oh, interesting.
He would only appear in public on like very rare occasions.
Wait, so you're saying by being less available,
Yeah.
by not always being in the spotlight,
Yes.
you actually increase your perceived value.
Yes.
Isn't that counterintuitive?
It seems counterintuitive.
It does.
But think about it.
Okay.
The less people see of you,
Yeah.
the more curious they become,
Okay.
the more you control your visibility,
Okay.
the more intrigue you generate.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's like that same principle behind intermittent rewards,
You mean like
like slot machines.
slot machines. Okay.
That unpredictability, it keeps you hooked.
Yeah, that's true. It does.
Right. And so Greene's suggesting that we apply this to our online presence,
Okay.
our creative output, our social interactions, like across the board.
Interesting.
Like, don't be afraid to step back,
Okay.
create a little bit of anticipation,
Mhm.
make people wonder, like, what are they up to now?
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
the little mystery goes
Yeah.
a long way.
But Greene also talks about the importance of embracing challenges,
He does.
of not shying away from adversity.
Yeah,
So how does that fit into his whole philosophy
right.
of power and success?
That's such a good question and such a crucial point because
Yeah.
Greene argues that early success can actually be a curse.
Really?
Yeah, it can lead to arrogance,
Okay.
complacency, and a lack of those valuable lessons
Right.
that you only learn through struggle.
So you're saying that setbacks are not just inevitable.
Yeah.
They're actually valuable.
They're valuable.
And that we shouldn't fear failure,
No.
but embrace it as a chance to learn
100%.
and grow.
Yes.
He uses the example of Thomas Edison,
Oh, good one.
who famously publicly announced that he would invent the light bulb
Right.
before he even had a working prototype.
Before he even knew if it was possible.
Wait, so he publicly committed to this groundbreaking invention
I know.
before he even knew if it was possible?
Yeah.
Talk about pressure.
That was the whole point.
It was.
Edison understood the power of social pressure.
Wow.
The power of setting a public deadline
Okay.
to fuel his own motivation
Wow.
and force himself to innovate.
So he basically engineered his own pressure cooker,
He did.
knowing that the threat of public humiliation
Yes.
would drive him to succeed.
And it worked.
It did.
Like the weight of that self-imposed deadline,
Yeah.
the potential for failure if he didn't come through,
Right.
it pushed him and his team to achieve something remarkable.
Wow. It's like he's saying that a little bit of pressure.
Yeah.
Even if we're the ones who create it for ourselves,
Right.
it can really light that fire under us.
Totally. 100%.
And it makes me think about Greene's own journey,
Yeah.
because he talks about how he channeled like all of those early frustrations,
Right.
all those years of struggle
Right.
to find his place.
Yeah.
He channeled all of that into his writing.
Wow.
It's like he took all that raw energy,
Yeah.
all that frustration and confusion,
Yeah.
and he poured it into crafting 48 Laws of Power.
Right. And it's like he's saying that it's almost like those setbacks became fuel for his creativity.
Yeah, and you know what? It actually reminds me of something that you said earlier
Okay.
about how Greene, he doesn't shy away from
Right.
like the darker aspects of power dynamics.
No, he doesn't. And he doesn't shy away from really tough conversations in general,
He doesn't.
which is, I think, one of the reasons why I respect him so much.
Yeah, me too, because it's like he wants us to really understand it.
Right. Exactly.
Not to glorify it,
No.
but to learn how to transcend it,
100%. Yeah. And I think that's where his insights into masculinity become really important,
Okay.
because he sees this crisis of masculinity happening right now
Oh, yeah, totally.
in the world today. And it's like all these conflicting messages
Right.
and this lack of positive role models.
Yeah, totally. It's tough out there.
And, he points to people like Andrew Pate
Right.
as examples of what can happen when ambition and aggression
Right.
become toxic.
It's a really difficult conversation to have.
It is.
But Greene, he doesn't shy away from it.
He really doesn't, and that's what I appreciate about him. He's not afraid to go there.
Yeah, because he's not advocating for
Right.
a return to this outdated
Wow.
macho ideal.
Right.
Instead, he's calling for this
He is.
redefinition of what it means to be a man
Yeah,
in the 21st century.
absolutely. He talks about the
Yeah.
importance of channeling
Yeah.
those classic masculine traits,
Okay, like what?
like ambition, discipline, courage,
Okay.
into pursuits that are both
Yeah.
personally fulfilling, but then also
Yeah.
beneficial to the world.
Yeah, so it's about finding that balance
Exactly.
between strength and sensitivity,
Yes.
ambition, but also empathy.
100%.
It's about recognizing that true strength comes from self-mastery,
I love that.
from having the discipline to control your impulses
Yeah.
and to channel your energy into something meaningful.
That's it. That's it.
And it's funny because, we started this deep dive
Yeah.
talking about skill accumulation,
I did.
about building that treasure trove of expertise.
Yeah.
But now it feels like we've come full circle.
It does.
It's almost as if all of that inner work,
Yes.
the journey of self-discovery,
It's the foundation.
is actually the most valuable skill that we can cultivate.
I think so, because ultimately Greene's message,
Yeah.
it isn't just about climbing the corporate ladder
Right.
or achieving worldly success for the sake of it.
It's not just about being powerful and successful.
It's about becoming the most powerful and authentic version of yourself.
Yeah, it's about embracing those quirks,
Yes.
the things that make you weird,
Totally.
and recognizing that those are actually the source of your unique strength.
I love that.
And then using that strength to build a reputation that reflects your true values.
Yes. Beautifully said.
And ultimately to make a positive impact on the world.
That's it.
That's really what it's all about.
I think so too.
Well, that is it for today's deep dive with Robert Greene.
He was a good one.
It was a really good one.
Really good.
So as you go about your week,
Yes.
I want you to remember what we talked about today.
Yeah.
And I want you to ask yourself,
Okay.
what makes you different?
Yes.
How can you use those qualities, those unique qualities,
Yes.
to create something valuable,
Yes.
to leave a positive mark on the world?
Love it.
Because that is the true essence of power.
Beautifully said.